Coming up, a regime falls and a war looks to be over.
And a perfect way to meet some adorable furry friends.
An international athlete makes a pit stop in Iowa on his path to the pros.
Winter weather flips the script. I'll have more later on in weather.
All that and more
coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Monday, December 9th, and I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And I'm Marshawn Gunn.
And the third member of our team, Isabel Thayer, is live outside to tell us today's weather story.
Thanks, guys. I'm outside on the Iowa Terrace where it is brisk 35 degrees, but things are looking up for the rest of the day. This afternoon, the December temps will change things up and warm to 51 degrees. Later on tonight, things will cool off and drop down to a chilly 31, and then tomorrow you'll want to bundle up as temperatures lower to 33 degrees. Later, I'll have a look at the rest of the forecast, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
For our top story, a decades-long war in the Middle East appears to be ending.
We have DITV's Assistant News Director Jace Bertrand in the newsroom with the final days of the Syrian regime.
Yeah, Marshawn, the Syrian civil war had gone cold for nearly 8 years, but over the weekend, dictator Bashar al-Assad fled Damascus to Moscow, signifying an end to his reign. Initially beginning as calls for government reforms, the Syrian civil war broke out nearly 15 years ago as Assad violently suppressed protests. Soon, the nation was filled with 6 different armies: the Assad regime's military, Syrian rebels, ISIS forces, U.S.-backed Kurdish rebels, Russian intervention forces, and U.S. intervention forces seeking to stop the spread of the Islamic State's influence in the country. The fall of Damascus has been caused in part by Russia's decline of support for Assad in light of the nation's invasion of Ukraine, as well as Iran's decline in support due to their ongoing proxy war with Israel. With the fall of Assad, Russia risks losing key access to the Mediterranean Sea, and Iran risks losing access to arms markets across the Middle East. While Syrian rebels are supported by the U.S. and nearby Turkey, the Kurdish rebels who are in conflict with Turkey also hold large amounts of eastern Syria, risking an extension to the violence.
As we all turn to the question of what comes next, the United States will work with our partners and the stakeholders in Syria to help them seize an opportunity to manage the risks.
The fall of Damascus signifies an end not only to the Syrian civil war, but to an end to the Arab Spring, which was a series of revolts and revolutions across the Middle East in nations like Egypt, Tunisia, and Libya. Tens of millions of refugees across Europe and the Middle East can also now have the chance to go home. This is a developing situation, so for now, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Jace. There's a new candidate in search for the University of Iowa's College of Law Dean. Lumen N. Mulligan was announced as a third candidate over the weekend. Mulligan is currently Dean and Professor of Law at the University of Missouri at Kansas City's College of Law. The candidate will meet with faculty, staff, and the student community today and tomorrow.
The Iowa City Parks and Recreation Department is receiving a grant. The department was awarded $200,000 to restore Sycamore Greenway's stormwater capacity, improving wildlife habitat, and upgrading the trails. The money will go toward removing certain plants, planting new ones, and improving benches, bicycle amenities, and other key features. This is the 15th grant given to Iowa City's Park and Recreation Department.
A Meowvelous new way to interact with adoptable pets is coming to Iowa City. DITV's Liz Schultz gave an inside look to a new business opening.
Iowa City is housing its first ever cat lounge to open early next year. Visitors will get the chance to interact with feline friends, hoping to brighten their day.
Kitty Corner Social Club will partner with the Iowa City Animal Care and Adoption Center, allowing visitors to adopt the cats in the lounge.
And I'm proud to be able to partner with the Iowa City Animal Care and Adoption Center. They have an employee who will be handpicking the cats to live in the space who will be successful.
Flexible admission options will be offered starting at $11. Guests can choose between 15, 30-minute, or hour-long interactions with the cats. Those looking to volunteer or apply for positions may also reach out now. Additionally, entrepreneur students at Iowa next semester will partner with the club.
And so we're going to have students working with us from launch through May.
Kitty Corner Social Club, located on 20 South Clinton Street, will be bookable for birthday parties, corporate events, and more, including movie nights, trivia, and yoga with cats.
So we plan to bring in local yoga instructors to do yoga with cats, maybe Saturday mornings, maybe some evening vinyasa classes.
Brown has been working on the idea since around July and says the club will welcome those of all ages. From the Iowa City Animal Care and Adoption Center, Liz Schultz, DITV.
The University of Iowa's latest exhibit in the main library hosted a guest speaker to talk about the important organization in women's athletics.
Ryan Lynch is live at the main library with how the UI and the organization work to improve women's athletics.
That's right, Hannah. And exhibit curator Jen Sterling invited a former UI student to talk about the university's history with women's athletics on Friday.
The exhibit showcases Iowa athletics through the years, including the UI's role in growing women's college sports.
It really reflects what happens in college athletics more generally, which is this sort of burgeoning women's intercollegiate athletics opportunities.
McDaniel College professor Diane Williams was invited to talk about the importance of the Association for Intercollegiate Athletics for Women's fight for equity in college sports.
It's fascinating and interesting and important, and I want people to know it existed, and I want people to understand what the women were fighting for.
The NCAA saw the AIAW as a threat, incentivized schools to leave the women's organization, and even worked to bury the AIAW's history.
I don't know how much I can give the NCAA too much credit for. They have really tried to bury this history for a long time.
The women from the AIAW persisted and joined the NCAA to continue the fight for women's sports.
The women who were involved continued to work within the NCAA after that, which I think is a pretty remarkable thing to note in and of itself.
The legacy of the UI's first women's athletic director, Dr. Christine Grant, inspired some NCAA members to restore the lost history of the AIAW.
One of our Iowa alums, Amy Wilson, is in charge of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion there, and she was Dr. Grant's last student. She has done a really great job of bringing forward this history.
And the University of Iowa continues to play an important role in women's athletics. From the main library at the University of Iowa, Ryan Lynch, DITV.
Coming up later, Candy takes flight at NASA.
And a further look into this week's weather forecast.
We'll be right back after the break.
In Iowa City, history is being made every day. DITV is capturing it all. Politics, sports, and art. Local, state, and nationwide. In front of the camera, behind the scenes, DITV.
DITV.
DITV. DITV. DITV.
DITV Sports.
DITV.
DITV
is capturing history.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in live on the DailyIowan.com or listening on KRUI 89.7 FM.
Now let's take a look back outside with Isabel for the forecast for the week ahead.
Thanks, guys. This week is looking to be on the chillier side, not as warm as today. But by the weekend, things are going to warm up with some sunshine, just like you can see on the Pentacrest. Wednesday, we'll have highs in the upper 20s, but the wind will bite with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Thursday, you'll want to bundle up with temps being the coldest all week with highs in the upper teens. On Friday, things will warm up, but will only peak in the mid-30s. Coming up on Saturday, things will warm up once again in the 40s with some sunshine making an appearance. Sunday, things will be the warmest all week with temps in the 50s, but will come with a high chance of rain. Looks like we're not having a white Christmas, but a girl can dream. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Now, Marshawn, it was kind of a disappointing weekend if you're a big Iowa hoops fan.
Yeah, definitely, but some other sports for Iowa did have a good weekend. So let's send it over to Brady for sports.
Yes.
Now, after playing basketball in the UK, Marcus Quirk's long journey made a stop in Iowa, playing in Mount Vernon for Cornell College. DITV's Joel Keller has the second part on Quirk's path to the pros.
It's like all the stereotypes you see on like TV and Hollywood films come to life. It's just louder and bigger.
Marcus Quirk moved to Iowa from the UK to continue his basketball career and play for Cornell College in Mount Vernon, a town with a population of 4,500.
The cultural changes of like school being different, basketball, just I'm feeling behind everyone, and then trying to fit in as an outsider being an international student. Being a small town and a small school helped because like people know who you are.
The biggest transition to America was the game of basketball for Quirk. Schlabach wanted Quirk to improve his shooting to help with that transition, and Quirk became infatuated with the shooting machine.
I'd seen one once before in my life, coming from abroad. So for me, that was magical. I was genuinely shooting hundreds of shots every day. Not even as like, I want to work hard, but like, wow, I have access to this. This is amazing. This is fun.
With the extra work that Marcus was putting in to improve his jump shot, he improved enough to impress Coach Schlabach.
We were working out and he said, Marcus, come in my office real quick. He said, Marcus, I think we're going to start your next game. And honestly, my reaction, I don't remember what I said, but it was something along the lines of like, are you sure? Because like I was averaging like 3-4 points a game. I didn't even think I should be getting in the games. But actually my first game against Knox College, I remember the line. I had 16 points, my first college start. And it was a little bit of a lucky game, but it built my confidence for sure.
I was very proud. Very, very proud.
Quirk's freshman class was the core that would rebuild the Cornell Ram basketball program. After only winning 6 games his freshman year, the group improved each year and put it together in Quirk's senior year.
So it was just kind of when it naturally clicked and came together. You know, it's our last year. Let's make it happen. We're the seniors. We're the leaders now.
Come senior day on February 19th, 2022, Mike and Quan Quirk were unable to make the trip all the way to Iowa to walk across the court with Marcus.
That is the downside of, you know, pursuing these opportunities in other parts of the world. You can't be there all the time, unfortunately.
They called upon their old friend to help them out and to have someone there to support Marcus. That friend was the one who helped Marcus develop his passion for the game, Donnell Williams.
My goodness, I was so humbled by him allowing me to come up there and share that moment with him. That was so special.
The rest of his senior year set the table for a potential post-grad career in basketball and ended with a storybook ending as he helped make history to round out his time at Cornell.
Stay tuned for the third and final part on Wednesday. Iowa football is headed back to Nashville, Tennessee for the Music City Bowl. This time around, the Hawkeyes will take on the Missouri Tigers on December 30th, but they'll be without Big Ten leading rusher Caleb Johnson and cornerback Jermari Harris as they prepare for the NFL Draft. Taking a quick trip west, Iowa's rival, the Iowa State Cyclones, are coming off their first ever 10-win season and a big loss to Arizona State in the Big 12 championship game, 45-19. Their season will end with a game against the Miami Hurricanes in the Pop-Tarts Bowl on December 28th. And the men's basketball team started off a rough weekend for Hawkeye hoops with a loss to 23rd ranked Michigan. Michigan opened the game with a 20-4 scoring run, but Iowa caught up and forced a tight game to the last second with 4 lead changes in the second half. Price Sanford had a shot at the buzzer, but fell short and the Hawkeyes lost 85-83. Iowa women's basketball lost their first game of the season on Saturday. The Hawkeyes fell to Tennessee 78-68 at the Shark Beauty Women's Championship Classic. The Hawks racked up 30 turnovers by the end of the game, and the Lady Vols were able to close out Iowa, finishing the game with an 11-1 run over the last 3 minutes. The Hawkeyes will next host Iowa State Wednesday night. And the Iowa women's wrestling team traveled to Liberty, Missouri, where they swept 5 duels in the Jewel Duel tournament. Iowa's 5 duels included matchups with number 7 Lindenwood and number 25 William Jewell twice. In the 5 duels, the Hawkeyes went 45-2 in their matches, their only 2 losses being forfeits. The Hawkeyes are now 28-0 all-time in duels, and they next head to North Central College Open this upcoming Sunday. Back to you guys.
Thank you for joining us online or listening on KRUI 89.7 FM.
We're here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at thedailyiowan.com.
For Ryan Lynch, Jace Bertrand, I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And for Brady Burhand, I'm Isabel Thier, I'm Marshawn Gunn. See you again Wednesday night right here on DITV.